Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Penn. Welcome back to the channel. I got a comment on before I step into it on one of my previous videos about people not being able to hear me. Now that was when I had the Audio Technica headset on. I know some of you are used to me having that headset on, but now I'm back to my Shure mic and I adjusted some settings on the Rodecaster side and in OBS. So just comment on the audio quality. I just need some feedback. But this is going to be a Q&A video ultimately for some of you that's interested. And let me bring up the screen share. So shout out to Alter Vision. He asked a follow-up question, right? And he was saying, hey, thanks. This is with the Kaleidescape. He was like, thanks, but I'm considering it, but I'm hearing you have to worry about support for Atmos. So I don't really know where he's hearing that from. If it's from a podcast or a different influencer or whoever in the space, right? The movies that I purchase on Kaleidescape, the movies that I care about, and I don't do like a A/B test or anything, or go on Blu-ray.com to check if the physical media version have Atmos or not. It just ain't that serious to me. I don't have time for that. But I'm going to address that. And what I found out, I was on the Kaleidescape owners forum. So this isn't officially associated with Kaleidescape. This is just a site for owners to come on, collab, talk shop, and, discuss. So there's a movie, the Fohesian Scheme. I probably mispronounced that. You guys probably know about it, but when it released on physical media, right, it was in Atmos. But when it released on Kaleidescape originally, and I don't know if it had an early release on Kaleidescape or it came out the same time as physical media. I don't know, because I don't keep up with certain films. This is a comedy, if I'm not mistaken, and I just wasn't interested in it, right? But the physical media release was in Atmos. The Kaleidescape version was in DTS HD Master 5.1. And then it was later updated to Dolby Atmos to be on par with the physical release. So it's this member called Rubot. And he was like, can anyone explain why they do things like this? And by the way, this isn't for every single major release. So I don't know what's going on the back end or what the discussions are being said or what's going on. But he stated here, I understand that older catalog titles may be various updated states, but why would a new major 2025 release launch without Atmos, then added in a month or two later? So that's something that you can definitely question. That's valid, Alter Vision. That's valid. Generally, if I'm going to pay for a new release rather than waiting until the price drops, it's because I want to watch it right away. So I already have watched it by the time it's updated. All right. So, and then, they're having a discussion. So to me, Love Cinema pretty much hinted at that, where what I got from it is that there seems to be a multitude or different versions of what's called the mezzanine file. So let me break that down for you, for the viewers, and if anyone don't know. So how Kaleidescape described it in the past, and it was on Shane Lee's podcast, actually. It was a while back, to where someone who worked at the Kaleidescape, they mentioned that the mezzanine file was pretty much like that raw, studio file that they send to Kaleidescape, and then Kaleidescape does their compression on top of that. Well, a few years later, I found out on the same channel, shout out to Shane Lee, that mezzanine file is given to everyone, because you got to think about it. The streaming services or platforms like Amazon, Movies Anywhere, Vudu, Apple, and any other digital distribution streaming service provider, they have to get the files from who? Directly from the studio. But I think what's going on is that everyone is getting different files. Like, for example, there can be particular movies on Apple servers where you have to purchase the movies from their store and play it. that's not in Atmos, but they're in Atmos on physical media and on Kaleidescape. And then there's situations to where they're in Atmos on physical media, but they're not in Atmos on Kaleidescape. Or it can be a situation where there's no 4K physical release at all, but they're on Kaleidescape. And it's just a jangled mess in some cases. I really can't tell you all the movies that's not in Atmos on Kaleidescape because I don't own all the titles, and nor do I have the physical media collection. Well, I can do some A/B tests. I do have access to the 4K remixes via my MB Cloud. You know, that's a crazy setup, but it would need to be a movie that I specifically see on Kaleidescape that's new, that's not in Atmos, and then at that point I will check it against my other server and then do a compare and contrast from there. So it may be on a case by case basis. You know, some people have contacted Kaleidescape, I imagine, directly on this forum that you're seeing, and the movies were updated and then they get updated automatically. But most of the major releases that I particularly purchased, because I had the Strato V for a little over a year now, majority of them ship with Atmos, and that's day one. So what you're hearing may definitely be true, and it seems to also match what I'm seeing on this forum here. Hey, you just have to look at your physical media collection and decide, hey, is this worth it? Should I look into ripping? Should I just stick with physical media? Because I understand when somebody purchased something, you know, they just want everything to be on point. I'm having a phenomenal experience with the Kaleidescape platform within my home theater, but I understand that it's not for everyone. All right. So all I can tell you is that the movies that I particularly care for, they're in Atmos, but I don't know what's your library, and it just comes down to research. And sometimes you got to get it and demo it or have someone demo it for you to see what's really going on. That's what I like to do. I like to jump in and get my feet wet and then do the content for YouTube and then share the results accordingly with you guys. So sometimes it comes down to that. You know, if we want to have a real talk, we can have that real talk. But yeah, that's definitely weird. So it seems to be multiple mezzanine files and everyone's getting certain files. But the thing with Kaleidescape is that because it's a premium download platform on top of a digital distribution service and store, these titles can always have updates. So if it has Atmos on physical media, but it doesn't have Atmos on Kaleidescape for whatever reason, I personally haven't ran into that. You can always request it, and they will let you know in a timely fashion. You can be on this forum, things like that. So, hey, definitely something to look into if you're curious. And it is also, once again, the best time to actually reach out and inquire about Kaleidescape pricing. You never know what dealers out there is running Black Friday, Christmas sales. You can get in contact with me, Ultravision, or anyone else that's curious about this, and I can set you up with a phenomenal dealer. From there, you'll talk business strictly with him. I will be excluded, and you'll handle your business accordingly. All right, so let me know if that answered your question. You know, hopefully that can bring a little bit more transparency to the discussion, because I haven't ran into anyone really talking about it. Really, I'm on a forum, so it's more discussion in the forums, obviously. But as far as on here, I don't know. I haven't ran into that personally. I've just been rocking Kaleidescape mainly when it comes to my films, and most people that got it, that's what they use as well for their main movie platform. So, but I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. Peace out and goodbye.